What's up, everybody? We asked all of our coaches that have been enrolled in our free challenges over the last 2 years this simple question, which was if you did not enroll in our Mobility Mastery Coaching Certification Program, which teaches people how to individualize mobility programming in order to increase their profits, increase their athletes' performance, and also increase their client relationships. So, meaning more client relationships as well as longer. And so we asked them, what was the reason that you decided not to join? And we had different boxes chosen for them. And the number one thing that they said was, clients will not do what we ask of them, meaning that they are not going through and actually doing the pieces and parts that we want them to do. They say that they want help, but then when it comes down to it, they don't actually want that help. So, we really started diving into this, into motivational interviewing in our mobility mastery certification to really fill in this hole for people. But I wanted to share it with you now because if there's a reason that your athletes are not participating, it can make a huge change if you just simply know why. So let's take athlete A for an example. Athlete A asks for help and then doesn't do any of the recommendations that you ask for. Holler if this has happened to you. Yeah, definitely for sure. And holler if you've been that athlete before that went up to someone and requested something and then didn't do it. It's a huge part and piece of all of this. And so, what we want to do then is we want to figure out, why is that happening? And so that's really whenever we start to go through these stages of change. And I don't know how many of you guys have seen these, but the stages of change start like this. There's pre contemplation, which this is where they're not even aware that they need to change something. This is the athlete that you walk up to and you're like, yo, you like just hurt your back deadlifting. You can't even touch your toes. I've noticed how bad your toes to bar are because your hamstrings are so tight. Let me get you started on this program. And they're like, wait, what? No, 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 no. I'm seeing the doctor for my back pain. I've had that for years. That's not related. So they're in this pre-contemplation space. They're in the no. Like they don't know what they don't know yet, but the answer is no. And this could be the reason that someone's not going through and not doing the program. The next phase is the contemplation phase. This is the maybe. Like they're aware that something's going on, but they're really not sure if they're ready to invest and really take it to the next level. So, this is somebody that, let's take this same example. So, this is somebody that comes up to you and they're like, hey, I tweaked my back doing deadlift again. I know that my hamstrings are really tight. What do you think I need to do? And then you start rambling off a whole bunch of stuff that you think that they need to do. Like, oh, we could do this custom programming. You need to do these stretches. Let's like set up an appointment so that I can run you through a movement screen. And they don't really know what they don't know yet. So they are unsure whether they want to commit to all of that, whether it's a financial commitment, a time commitment, or both, and really what's going to work for them. So they're kind of like, oh, let me think about it. That's a maybe. They might even say yes, but they're still in this maybe stage. They need more time to comprehend if this is going to work for them. The next phase is preparation. So, this is the phase where they are ready to change. They're starting to prepare, they're starting to plan what they need. So, this is the person that comes back to you and they're like, hey, I know we talked about doing an assessment and some custom programming so that I can improve my deadlift, so I can improve my overhead mobility. I'm really ready to do that. Can we sit down and do an assessment and talk about what is the time commitment there? What else do I need to do? What equipment will I need? All of these pieces. This is when they're ready to sit down for that motivational interview. They're ready for you to take 30 to 45 minutes out of your time and be asking them really set questions to get to the root of the cause of the problem and what they believe the root of the cause of the problem to be. Remember, one of the biggest disservices we can do is give people what we think they need versus what they want. So when they come to us and ask us for something specific, but we know that there's these other limiting factors. So, for example, let's say somebody comes to you and they want to improve their overhead squat. and you're like, "Oh, yeah, well, your mid back's super tight, your hamstrings are super tight. We're gonna need to do 6 to 8 weeks of stretching before we're able to do that." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no. I wanted to get my overhead squat better and stronger for the open that is in 2 months, and I don't have time to invest in that. So I'm just gonna come to the gym and I'm gonna add weight on every single week." When you could have programmed them strength and then supersetted it with their mobility so that you could move them farther. And this is what the motivational interview will do is really allows you to see what are their wants, what are their barriers to success that you see that maybe they don't yet, and then how all those people or pieces are going to fit together. What barriers do they see to their success? The next stage is action. And in the action plan, this is where they're ready to do. So they have signed a commitment form. Yes, make all of your athletes, if you are one on one programming for them, if you are giving them extra work, make sure that they are signing a commitment form for them. Like this is going to allow them to commit. And this is whether they are paying you or not, but paying is another form of commitment. It allows them to commit to you, to commit to the time that you're investing into them, and to most importantly, commit to themselves. So this is when they're in action and they're ready to do. They know exactly what the expectations are from you. They know what their expectations are for you, and now they're ready to go. And then the last phase is maintenance phase. This is where they can keep going. They've gained all the skills that they need, and they're just going to keep moving forward. So they know that, hey, these 4 exercises are super helpful for me. I don't need custom programming anymore, but I know exactly what to do and I know who to come back to if something else pops up. They're in the maintenance phase and they're consistently still moving towards that goal and maintaining that goal that they had before. Maybe they've achieved it and now they're keeping it. So maybe their goal was that they can always touch their toes. And for the last 6 months, every time they've come to the gym, they've checked that before they've done any sort of deadlift or hip hinging patterns. And they've been able to touch their toes consistently for the last 6 weeks without having to mobilize prior to being able to do that. They're in the maintenance phase. They feel confident that they can walk into the gym and know exactly what they need to do for warm up. They feel confident that if something is off, how to modify. They feel really good. The other part of the models of the stages of change really comes from if someone feels some sort of relapse. So they might fall back on their goals and they could fall back from the maintenance phase all the way back to pre contemplation, which means that they're still a no. Like they've fallen way off the bandwagon, but they don't know what they don't know and they're not ready to come back right now. And so again, it's that constant reassessment of where are they in this state of change, especially when people come up on family stresses or something else is changing in their life. It's always important to come back and really figure out where they are in the state of change and meet them where they are. Wait for that invitation and wait for that commitment from them. And then that's when you're going to have really successful client relationships. If they aren't ready to give you that commitment, that's okay. Hold space for them and be ready for that. So, some just really great questions to wrap up that I always ask during motivational interviewing is what blocks do you predict will come up that will prevent you from achieving this goal that you're setting? I love that one because people just start predicting everything that they think is going to happen and they will start telling you. And then the next follow up question is what are we going to do about those blocks? How can we solve those now so the blocks don't come up? If the blocks do come up, how are you going to communicate with me when they do come up? And then what is going to be the solution to get through those? If you start thinking about those before people actually get into it, then you can really move forward. The next and last thing that I really look for in motivational interviewing, once I know that people really are in that contemplation stage and they're really starting to go into preparedness, what I will do is that I will also ask them, what will you gain if you achieve this goal? What will you lose if you do not achieve this goal? Is there anything that you will lose or gain if you don't achieve this goal? So think about secondary gain. Sometimes there are reasons that people are not wanting to achieve goals because they're getting a secondary gain from not achieving them. So even though they say out loud, I want to lose weight, I want to get more fit. I want to PR my squat clean. Even though they're saying that, they actually get a secondary gain from not doing those things. They get more attention in the gym, they get more programming, all of these pieces. And so it's really important. I hope this helps you guys. If you guys have any other questions, check out the comment section below and come join us in Mobility Mastery Coaching Certification. If you have questions about it, you guys can DM us on Instagram at Mobility Athletes and just DM me Mastery. I take care of all of our messages there. And I would love to talk to you more about our coaching certification program. This is really phase one, and phase one is commitment. And then we go into our other phases, which are testing and then connecting the brain and the body. On the brain, we do all the neuroscience techniques, including eye, cranial nerves, vagus nerve, breath work. And in the connect the body, we do joint by joint mobility approaches. All right, guys, I hope to see you over in Mobility Mastery. If not, I'll be back next week with another live.